All right. Welcome in to the A to Z Sports Game Day, Big Orange Game Day reaction show. Charlie Burris, former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. We live every halftime and post game for Vols football this season. And before we get into everything that we just watched with ETSU, actually we're starting early because it's such a ridiculous blowout. But we got to tell you about our great sponsors, Lipscomb University Sports Analytics grad. Turn your passion for sports into a career with the Lipscomb Sports Analytics program. And also Window Nation. Buy 2 windows. You'll get 2 free. Make no payments for 2 years. That is Window Nation. WindowNation.com. Check them out. We'll talk more about that in a minute. 70-7 is your current score. That could technically change, and then I can change the graphic. But there's 3 minutes left or something in the game, and we just sort of said, look, ETSU, I don't think they're going to mount the greatest comeback in the history of college football. Let's go ahead and talk. So, Cromp, second half, anything stick out to you there?
I like that starters didn't play. I do like that he let Merklinger run the offense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get in there. What that reminded me of was 2020 Alabama, where when Bryce Young was a freshman and he would have the quote-unquote mop-up time, but they ran the offense and let him go through their zone reads, their stuff, because God forbid, you never know when you need them. So I do like that it wasn't just go in there, hand it off, waste time. It was, hey, run the offense, run it normal. We'll go to slower pace, but run it normal. So I was encouraged by Merklinger looked good.
He did.
9 of 14, 118, 2 touchdowns. I was encouraged in that sense to watch the guys play. And I was very encouraged when I kept hearing, so-and-so freshman with the play, so-and-so freshman with the play. And that's a positive when we have that many freshmen that can produce and get playing time in a game like this, and they can still technically redshirt depending on the rest of the year. It's a good thing. I mean, I was encouraged in the second half. Now, it's on to get ready to, even though it's not we'll have more non-conference, but SEC play next week.
Yeah, you're such an exciting place, and in my opinion, you have looked better than I thought you were going to through 2 games. Not that I thought they were going to look bad. I thought they were Syracuse. You definitely thought you were going to, beat the heck out of ETSU. But kind of what we talked about at halftime, where the general look of the team, not only do your starters look like they're playing at a level above at least what I anticipated, but the depth looks pretty good. There was one drive where ETSU just kind of marched down the field, scored a touchdown here in the last couple. And that was a little ugly, but that was against the string for Tennessee, a ton of freshmen. And so not putting tons of stock into that. But it's kind of like at halftime, again, what I was saying then, and is still true right now. South Florida 15, Florida 9, Clemson losing 16-3 to Troy at halftime. I mean, things could be much worse. And yeah, Syracuse today, they got pushed by UConn, but it doesn't matter. Everything, you looked good, and you're leading into that Georgia game. And I like all of that. And you saw with Merklinger, he's not as crisp as Aguilar has been, but he was serviceable. And then he went out there and as you were saying, ran the offense. Actually, the offense did a good job, had a nice little back shoulder touchdown and some different things. Like, it was good stuff overall. George Mayer, who hopefully, knock on wood, doesn't really have to get too much playing time this year. But you like what you did there, too. So, all in all, man, this was a fun, easy breezy game, and do we even need to spend that much time on it when we could be spending time making fun of Florida?
Well, no, I am with you, but excuse me, for instance, with Merklinger, what I like to see though is that he got to run the offense, No, is he is quote unquote polished as Aguilar? No, but he's also like 4.5, 5 years younger than him or something crazy like that, like age wise. So he's got room to grow. He's only a redshirt freshman. And the positive is top 3 receivers, junior, sophomore, freshman, which means, and I'm not obviously fast forwarding past this year, it shows you that we're building depth now. And we've talked about this for years. We knew this would happen when Heupel got there. It takes time to build depth, especially in today's world of NIL and the transfer portal and all that. Whole rabbit hole we could go down. But now we're starting to build depth, the crucial positions, to where when Aguilar graduates or the next guy graduates, we go, okay, we've got this freshman who's now a sophomore that's ready to play, or this sophomore that's now a junior that's ready to play. That's what I took away from today, was seeing the guys that are going to be the next guys up, and not taking it as a quote-unquote slight that got to mop-up duty. Because I'm telling you, you see that on some teams. They're tell that they're upset that they're playing mop-up duty, so to speak. Our guys went out there and just played football today. They just went and played. That was probably one of the first times I've seen that with under Heupel it's been the most that way, but today it just seemed a little more evident that guys are bought into the staff and the system and the culture there. So it was fun to see that. I'll say it that way. And that's really, honestly, that's kind of the outside of 500th win at Neyland Stadium. I just saw that stat right there. It just popped up as I was about to go to a different channel. But so really, that's kind of the synopsis of the game in my mind, that we played really well. We had a crap load of guys catch the football. I mean, there's a list of them, but the top 3 leading receivers were junior, sophomore, and freshman. Phenomenal. We're building depth at running back. Second half, it was all freshmen that played at tailback.
Yeah,
that's great.
It is. This went as well as it could have gone overall. In my opinion, you saved health. That's one you always got to bring up after a game like that.
Yes. Yes.
And you got to see fun stuff. Jack Van Dorselaer scoring a touchdown. A guy that I'm not sure he was really going to get a touch this season. More than anything, had a nice little spring game, but you see guys like that out there actually making plays. That's cool, and that's nice. But where does that leave Tennessee for this Georgia game? Obviously, that's going to be the bulk of this discussion. But before we get into that, I guess this segment does sort of have to do with the Georgia game. So Tennessee 72-17. I guess the game finally over? I don't have it in front of me. Okay, 72-17 is your final. And Georgia on the horizon. And so as we do every single week in the game, for anyone that wants to, if you do want to, drop into the comments and give us one word for how you're feeling after 72-17. Tennessee over ETSU, but really one word for how you're feeling with the Georgia Bulldogs now on the horizon. You're already 2 weeks in. We're already going into week 3 for the college football season. Yeah, it moves so quickly. Don't take it for granted. And be glad that your team is not losing to Troy in the late third quarter right now. So one word for how you're feeling after Tennessee 72, ETSU 17, and we'll get into it right after. Tell you about the good folks, and I got again still wading into the season here. Got to tell you about the good folks at Window Nation. Whether you have old draft windows or builder windows, now is the best time to replace them. Protect your home ahead of the fall and winter weather, and get replacement windows from Window Nation. Top quality, energy efficient windows from a trusted company, all at a reasonable price. Window Nation offers a lifetime warranty on all their windows, so you can relax knowing your home is protected far into the future, and save big this month. If you buy 2 windows, you'll get 2 free. Make no payments for 2 years. You won't have to deal with monthly payments, a down payment, or interest until 2027. Hurry, because the sale ends September 30th. Don't miss out. This is Window Nation's most popular offer. Schedule a fast week estimate now with the pros at Window Nation. 86690 Nation is your phone number. WindowNation.com. Window Nation prompt. I'll throw it to you right off the bat. Georgia, right down the pike after a blowout win over ETSU. What's the one word for how you're feeling?
It's not really a word. It's more of a number. 2022, because I feel the most optimistic I've felt since 2022 offensively. I know we played Syracuse, but it's a Power 4 team, and I know it's ETSU. But just watching them and how they're playing, how they're communicating, all of those things, it feels eerily similar to that year. You know what I mean? A true veteran quarterback that has played a good amount of ball over his career, just like Hendon had one coming in 2022. So that's mine. I'm not going to continue to harp on that all year, but that just really is kind of where I'm at. And I know a lot of people are going to say, and it brought up because I see this one thing talking about our defense. I mean, guys, we gave up 17 points. That we scored 72. Who gives a damn if we gave up 70? We scored 72. In today's world, I was talking about this with my coaching staff the other day. Today's world, the goose egg, the giving up 0 points and all that stuff are very rare because of how offenses have evolved. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So
yep.
They only ran the ball for 49 total yards, and they only threw for 167. I mean, that's a pretty darn good day defensively. Syracuse has a pretty good offense, and they weren't able to do much overall. We had a lot of TFLs, a lot of sacks. So obviously, yes, next week is a big test. Defensively, it is. It will always be. Every SEC team is a test. I just also think that I've got confidence that if we have that quote-unquote off day defensively, that our offense has enough firepower to score one more than they do.
Love it. And I agree. Let's look into the comments. One word for how you're feeling after today's ETSU. Giant is in the number that Tennessee put up on the board, not necessarily the level of the win. No, ETSU. Great school. I really like Will Healy. Randy says, ready? Steve, impressive. Cautious from Tyler. He still don't know what the team is against top-tier competition. Scott says, competent. And I didn't bring this up. Kyle, he says,
that's one that I saw.
He said our defense still worries the blank out of me. Elias says, Aguilarific. Eric roll. Eric height. Eric again says clicking. I will say time. That's mine because it is time. It is time to beat the freaking Georgia Bulldogs.
Yep.
Now, if not now, when? If not this team, then who? Is what I would say. Because I love the vibe of everything that's going on. They are not going to have as much talent as the Georgia Bulldogs, and that is okay because you were playing in the friendly confines of not just the friendly confines. They're the confines where Josh Heupel has lost to no one except the Georgia Bulldogs for 3 years now. And that has to be the whole thing. Let this crowd carry you. Let your chemistry carry you. And let's go beat this freaking demon because I cannot stand these guys. I will not be barked at anymore. It is time. 72-17 over ETSU, a nice win over Syracuse. Even if Syracuse look like today against UConn, it doesn't matter. Tennessee is looking like a formidable football team. And so it is time to beat the Georgia Bulldogs. That's what I say right now. I'm just so tired.
I agree with it. And I mean, I think a couple of comments. I think this one hits I think it's spot on. It says you don't hang 70 plus on a top 15 FCS team without being pretty good at football. Because the reality is ETSU is a good football team at the FCS level. They are a top 15 FCS team. And that's just, we're playing really good football. I saw a comment earlier that said, when people are trying to talk about the defense, human nature, and yes, let's call it like it is, from my point of view, it does get annoying. That always wanting to find something to gripe and complain about, right? Or like hypothetically here, the reason I'm going to use today's stats is we threw it 52 times and we ran it 48 total. Okay, so very even. So I'm just going to use those numbers and act like, oh, well, we didn't run it enough. We didn't run it. We ran it 4 times too less. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. Or we didn't throw it enough. Like there's always going to be something. Guys, we won by a boatload of points.
So that it's hard to calculate right off the top of your head.
Like 55 or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those. It's like take it when it's there. Because let's call it like it is. This hasn't always happened for us. We had a lot of downtime. Every program goes through it. So enjoy it. We have that there kind of, you can tell the culture's what we want it to be. You can tell the players love it. The vibe's there, all that stuff. And it really does feel like a couple years ago offensively. And I mean, I'm excited about it because I don't think there's going to be many people that can defenses, I don't care how talented they are, that can match up with everything that we're going to be able to do. Like just from the pass game, the run game, all of that. It's exciting. It's exciting to see where we're going.
I could not agree more. The prospect of what you have going right now, even when you just look at Georgia as the primary competition, they're working with a young kid who he'll only be playing in his 5th start. Will it even be his 5th? His 4th or 5th start at quarterback. And uber talented guy. I think it was a 5-star or whatever. But you have a dude that has been there, done that. It's so clear that the game is completely slowed down for him. I mean, he's so just ready for college football because he's played so much at this point. And then you have Star Thomas's, your Mike Matthews, Chris Brazel had a great game today. Hopefully it continues. Defense, as folks in the comments were saying, they need to make sure they bow up this coming week. But hopefully Nealon really brings that heat and can help you there, can maybe cause some false starts and be a big factor in rattling that kid that's only playing. I mean, this will be incorrectly, obviously playing the playoff, which is tons of pressure, but I mean, this will be his first true road game. I want his first true road game ever. And they get him in a pretty vulnerable spot, as vulnerable as he'll be. And that's exciting. I don't know.
I'm telling you, Nealon will be rocking. Everybody knows that.
It's be nasty. Yeah, it's very, very exciting, and I'm just ready for it. But let's get into the numbers and see how prepared we think Tennessee might be for this game, given what we just watched. This segment, of course, we already talked about them at halftime, but the good folks at Lipscomb University and the Lipscomb Sports Analytics program. Analyze, strategize, revolutionize, turn your passion into a profession. Get off the sideline with Lipscomb Sports Analytics program. You'll learn to make the calls that count. Lipscomb University Sports Analytics program is turning sports fans into data-driven decision makers, excited professional athletics. Go to lipscomb.edu to learn more. At Lipscomb, we're not just watching a game, we're changing what's played through our innovative sports analytics program. So let's look at these analytics prompt, the stats. Let me pull up these team stats for Tennessee today. Yes, it's ETSU, but to the points of the folks in the comments, they in the FCS ranks, they are no scrub. 717 total yards, 458 there, 259 on the ground. I'll have to look into the defensive stats, but I'm sure those are plenty good too. You held ETSU to 216 yards. What you were saying already, there's a 2022 feel to this thing. Will that translate into this Georgia game being the 2022 Alabama game for you? Because, I would love to see us win that one and storm the field like we did against Old Saban. That was just cathartic in a way that's hard to even describe now. Is this one? Does Tennessee have a real chance in this one?
Oh, no doubt. So I'll do the 2022 comparison just because why not? As far as like offensively per se, does that make sense? Sorry, Clemson came back.
Womp womp.
I just saw it. I know. It kind of annoyed me. My fault. I got off track. They're up 17-16. I got off track with that. That annoyed the crap. All right, sorry. So the comparison I was going to go receiver-wise, this year now may not be as blazing fast as Jalen Hyatt was, right? But Brazzle is our Jalen Hyatt. He's our number one. He's our deep guy, blah, 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 blah. Well, we had Cedric Tillman back then who was a bigger body guy. Oh, by the way, now we got Mike Matthews who can also take the top off. So now our top two guys are take the top off guys, not just one and then intermediate. What have I said for years? When are we the most deadly? When we have receivers that can take the top off, because now defenses, safeties got to play deep. They got to play two high coverages, which now that helps our run game. If your D lineman and your three linebackers, excuse me, aren't dudes, we can run the football for 200 yards a game. Statistically speaking, we run for 200 a game. We win a majority of those games. So that's why I keep saying it's a 2022 feel to me. Not to say that we're going to have the Brazzle's going to have 5 catches for 5 touchdowns and 300 yards or whatever it was, right? But we have more consistency and more complete team speed than we had in 22. Instead of just being one guy, we have multiple guys, and that scares the absolute hell out of safeties and defensive coordinators.
Your offensive line is probably better, at least the starters are probably better than that 22 offensive line. I think that room as a whole, at the very least so far, looks competitive to what that 22 room was. Of course, I mean, that it was, as good as Dylan Sampson was, like he was your number 2 in 2022, or even number 3.
He was a 3.
Yeah, he was.
I know.
And as one of the best seasons in school history. So we'll see on the running backs, but I love what the running backs have. And if you could combine them with a defense that can put up an effort close to last year. Through 2 games, it doesn't look like they have the funk last year's defense did. Specifically, you look at the interior defensive line. Although defensive backs are probably right there, I think.
Our DBs are better than I would take this year's DBs overall than last year's overall. Not like individual, but as a collective.
And man, if you could get your mod back, that's such a shame that he's not. I assume he's not going to be playing against Georgia. That sucks because that would just that would be huge to have maybe the best DB in all of college football back for that game. What an absolute shame. But even hey, maybe you'll have him back for the Alabama game or the Florida game or whatever, whenever he can make it back. And he can just be that much better. And on the interior defensive line, you need to get healthy. Doesn't seem like maybe Jackson Moy will be back. David Hobbs, we'll see. But you need all the help that you can get. Nate Robinson needs to get healthy. So there's a lot that will go into beating Georgia. Tune into the Big Orange podcast with myself, Zach Reagan, Monday, and we'll give the full preview of everything. But yeah, I'm in agreement. This is as close as you're gonna get with Kirby Smart at Georgia. I gotta think like this talent gap, and not just the talent gap, but the way your team is playing and the way that their team looks on. You're catching them early in the season, where normally it's more towards the middle point of the season, and there's just a lot of factors kind of working in your favor.
There are, but also, maybe I'm. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I also think there's a factor of the kids who like. Yes, everybody wants to make the NFL. That's your goal. But who would you rather play for from somebody that, when players talk to each other, recruits talk to each other, would you rather play for Kirby Smart or Josh Heupel? Everybody's different, but you can tell they're starting to lean the Josh Heupel, Dan Lanning type coach's way. You know what I mean? To where, don't get me wrong, they hold you accountable, they push you, all this stuff, but they also love on you at the same time. They tell you when you had a good play, they tell you when you had a good drive, and everything's not always negative. I'm not saying that way's wrong. It's worked for Nick Saban. You know what I mean? It's worked for Kirby. But
I love
times do
to that
change.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud.
Well, I was just going to say, to that same point, I think a super encouraging that you've seen. I know there's been with Joey Aguilar and just the sensational story that was Nico and everything that happened there. All guys on YouTube have kind of been capitalizing and making videos about Tennessee's offense through the first two games here. And something that came up in one of them that I watched was that Heupel has really, if innovate is the right word, he's innovated over this offseason and changed things around. Specifically, what I watched, I think it was the film guy on YouTube, Brooks Austin. I think he said that Heupel is bringing in elements that he sees in Sarkisian at Texas and trying to really put in wrinkles that weren't there before. And for a long time, what made Saban truly special, what made Saban that guy, was obviously his unbelievable discipline and the way that he could just coach blood out of a rock, but also he just was always willing to innovate. He said, relying completely on defense isn't going to work. So he goes and hires Lane Kiffin and wins a national championship. Yeah. And, it's all of that where you've got to be willing to change to win at a football game. And it can't just be my way or the highway, the system. I will live and die by the system. Because it felt a little bit at the beginning that my type of guy. And it seems like he may be innovating a little bit here. It's still early. We'll see exactly how it goes. But I like those signs a lot. A lot that he's showing so far.
I agree with that. And to take that a little further, I said it last week, but I'll kind of reiterate it here. Just as far as watching Aguilar's drop, if you go back and watch all the guys that have played at Tennessee under Heupel, it's been play fake, stand still. And we've talked about that, where that is an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like you become a sitting duck. You can tell Heupel, it's either Heupel, Halsey, or Aguilar just doing it on his own, which I highly doubt is the case. Evolving where he's letting him actually have a little bit of movement in the pocket, have a little bit of a tempo drop sometimes. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the evolution of where we're going, is he's really good about evolving to the players, not making the players evolve to him.
Yes. And that's just really exciting because it's just a sign that he's a good coach. That's what you want in college football right now. You just want you want to see a guy who's really willing to adapt and bring the best out of his players possible. And it's not just, I run the system and it works. And don't be Dabo, where you don't dip into transfer portal for 3 or 4 years just because you're stubborn and I'm going to do it my way or whatever, and then you fall behind. It's really nice. This is an interesting question from Eric that I want your thoughts on. Do you honestly think our secondary can hold up against Georgia? No Gibson and no McCoy.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
I do, because I mean, what let's call it what it is. Under Kirby Smart, what is Georgia in the pass game? What have they been known for? Tight ends. Just saying. They've been known more for tight ends than receivers, truthfully. So I do think our DBs can hold up. I think our defensive scheme will be there. Truthfully, I really do. I'm not saying that just because I'm a homer. Now we still got to make the plays. You know what I'm saying? We still got to cover. Still got to make sure we don't get a random phantom personal foul, holding, pass interference, something like that. But I don't think their receivers are just better than our DBs. I would say it if I did. I truly don't. I think Hood's playing lights out right now. And I think they're going to try to throw away from him if they throw it. But I also think they're going to try to use running backs and tight ends a lot in the pass game to try to get him comfortable, because it is going to be a hostile environment. Let's just be honest. There's a reason why most players, when they get interviewed about where's the craziest place you played, the loudest place you played, it's like 75% always say Neyland. There's a reason why. So that's our advantage, that this is not in October or whenever that he's had a couple road games. Nope. His first actual true road game as a starter will be in Neyland Stadium.
You need to have in this game, hopefully a number of these moments, but at least one or two, like you had against Alabama in 22, where Tennessee got up by a couple touchdowns and the crowd is really, really bearing down on them, and you get them pinned up against their own goal line. And you could just tell in that game, I mean, Bryce Young, probably best quarterback in college football that year, won the Heisman, did everything, and the Heisman the year before. And he looked completely rattled in that game. You could just see it when the camera panned towards the kid's face. It was just, oh boy, we are in a tight spot. You have to have moments like that in this game and take advantage of the kneeling crowd. That has to happen, because that's when you can take advantage of their mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. Hopefully turn it over. Hopefully get pinned with a punt out on end zone. And then you can really make things happen. I mean, look, today, if you could get them pinned down, punting out of their own end zone, you got Boo Carter back there returning. Well, he almost housed one today. Yep. Like, that's the opportunities that you have to get and take advantage of. And I really hope they do. It's exciting.
It's like the game Maxim say, hey, when make the breaks and one comes our way, score.
Yep.
And we got to. The best thing is our special teams has the ability to score at any moment. Offensively, we got a chance to score at any moment. Defensively, once again, we're going to give up points. That's part of the game today. It is what it is. I mean, Clemson is ranked 8th in the country, and they're giving up 16 points to Troy, right? And the team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. If we make 2, we need to make sure they make 4. I mean, it's just, it's part of it. So it's the old adage. 5 plays make or break a ball game, but you don't know when the 5 plays are. After the game, you don't know during the game when those 5 plays are. So that's where our coaches got to do a good job this week. And I promise you, we all know we have the coach that will be that coach for them. That's just the reality. We have the whole staff that'll be those coaches. So I'm confident in our ability. I'm confident in what we're going to do next Saturday. Like I always am. I don't think this is a very long time that I truly feel that when we go into every game, we have a chance.
Agreed. Oh man, it makes me nervous, but it's, as I said,
nerves mean you care.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Nerves, and that's what I tell my players. If you're not nervous before a game, then you're not ready for the game. You're not ready for the moment. You don't care about what we're doing. Now, once the game starts, your nerves go away. But nerves mean you care about whatever it is. And so, yeah, that's a good thing.
It's time. That's all I got to say. Myself, Zach Reagan, we'll have the Big Orange podcast on Monday live here on this YouTube channel. Look out for that. and we'll do a full preview there. But I gotta get you here, Crump. Score prediction. Who's winning?
I mean, obviously us. Obviously, I would love 72 or 73, breaking another record. They're not, that's not going to happen. But I think we win it. Win at home, early, massive win, and I'll say 35-24.
Ooh, an 11-point win over Georgia. My goodness, the fireworks that would set off in the world of college football would be a shot across the bow. Lordy.
Because watch this. Here's my thing. You really think Florida State's that good to jump to number 14? No, Bama's not as good, but they beat Bama. See what I'm getting at? Like, it doesn't – you got to play the game. Florida and South Florida right now prove that's why you play the game on the field, not on paper.
God, that would be incredible. David says 37-27. Tennessee. Brandy, 34-28. Speaking into existence.
Love it.
Is time. I am Charlie Burris. That is Jonathan Crompton. Anything before we head out, Cromp, for the good folks at home?
No, just everybody have a great week. Let's, hype up the team all week, hype up Neyland Stadium, get ready to go for next weekend to start SEC play.
I feel like it could be a very good sign if Alex Golish will have his team go on a game-winning drive here at Florida. Down 1.
That'd be great.
Oh, man. God, one of the orchestrators of the 22 Bama game beating Florida at Florida. I feel like that would have to be a good omen. Again, Charlie Burris, former Vols quarterback Jonathan Crompton. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, hanging out. Great comments. It was a great time. We love going back and forth with everybody. We will be back here, as I mentioned, Big Orange Podcast on Monday here on the A to Z Sports Tennessee Volunteer YouTube channel. And then we'll be back here halftime post-game of the Georgia game. Win, lose, rain, shine, doesn't matter. We'll be here.
There we go.
Thanks again for hanging out with us. And we will talk to you.
Thanks, guys.